Hey YouTubers, Mike Martins here, Mike Martins channel. Man, I got a really good article I want to share with you guys. It's from Better Dwelling, of course. They write some really good articles, in-depth articles, get to the point, and basically educate people on what's really going on, and it's always good to know. This article is saying Toronto real estate will get over 57,000 new homes in 2018. The problem is Toronto's not facing a supply problem, it's facing an affordability problem like every other English-speaking country in the world. And basically, a lot of people don't understand. They think they could build themselves out of this problem, and by putting more on the market, by balancing out, seeing if it balances out the pricing. But it's not what's happening in Ireland and Scotland right now, and everyone has already tried to build out of the market. There's no way out of it. Toronto real estate is being plagued by chronic shortage of supply, or is it? Recently, we've been asking a number of investors and developers whether will be able to profitably create more supply in Greater Toronto Area, GTA. That's a tough question. And we'll get to that another day. In order to understand the problem, however, we need better estimates of how supply is born. So today we'll be looking at a predictive model we've been working on that estimates the amount of completions that will hit the market in 2018. At a current rate of construction, the Greater Toronto will see over 57,000 new units completed in 2018. About the data, this isn't meant to be a laser precise catalog of completions. So, they're trying to put things together. I think these guys do a 2,000% better job than any real estate company does when it comes to data. Those guys you gotta watch out for those guys. But Better Dwelling's got a good thing going here, so this isn't meant to be a laser, we know that, and it's an estimate of how much new construction supply will hit Greater Toronto, and an estimate of when. We combine starts, under constructions, behavioral, and seasonal factors. Of course, it gets like minus 70 in Toronto in the winter. It's so cold, it's like minus 40. Anyways, when then apply it to our predictive new supply model, that we get is a rough idea of how many homes are going to be released into the region. This is a base supply demand analysis, and a lot of people have done it strangely. Not a lot of people have done it strangely, sorry. Estimating completion time isn't perfect science. Ask any developer, pre-construction buyer. Whether supply, constraints, and even just plain municipal bureaucracy can hold up a project. We did the best that we could to estimate these times. Based on how long the holdups have been, we can adjust for typical seasonal delays. It's probably the most comprehensive predictive estimate most of you will ever see, but it's not perfect. Some projects will be bumped by a day or months, and that happens. That said, no on that to the data. Sorry, guys. I was just thinking of something while I was reading that, actually. I still remember in South Florida in 2007-ish, beginning of 2007, I still remember a ton of people walking away from their pre-builds, letting the builder keep their down payments or taking the loss on their pre-builds. I still remember that. That was actually a pretty big deal. Anyways, over 57,000 units to hit Greater Toronto in 2018. Expect a ton of construction supply over the next year, but our estimates are 57,674 units should register across Greater Toronto in 2018 to contrast previous years. That's 59.9% higher than 2017's completions. That's what I wanted to get to right here. Holy smokes! What do they think they're going to do? You can't build yourself out of this problem. It's an affordability problem, but let's continue. To give long-term estimate, that's 60.3% higher than the City of Toronto's annual completion estimates of the GTA from 2006 to 2015. It's a lot of supply, but how this supply contrasts the growing Greater Toronto region. So here it is. Greater Toronto residentially completion, project monthly completions projected, okay? So there you go. It goes way back into the 90s. So if you look up here, so sorry about that. My computer's acting weird. So it just goes just like normal, eh? Growing. And then boom, 2018 hits. Look at that spike in 2015. Look at that. What? And look at these completions here. Look at that one. Holy smokes. Let's see if this one pops up. Hold on. Okay, I think it's only 5,442. This one is... Come on, baby. There it is, right there. 6,000. There it is, the one I wanted right there. But yeah, you can see what's happening here. Household formation versus supply. Should you be hoarding because lack of supply? Let's take a quick look at household formation numbers that will prevent skew from the rise of a single person's household who real estate agents tragically to assume will never find a partner to move in with. The number of households formed between the 2011-26 census averaged 29,241 households. That's 18% lower than the average annual completion data of 39,978 from the city of Toronto. There's the projection and completion. Wow. Busting out the 60 large. Look at that. Wow. That's off the charts, man. All right. Remember, census numbers don't capture 100% of the population. However, it would need to be off by about 20% for there to be a shortage in previous years. Either the census is completely useless, or which is I believe that is, because just because they publish the census, it doesn't mean it's real, right? Guys, don't believe everything you read, right? Completely useless, and we should just throw darts at a board. Or we've been building a pretty nice buffer to absorb the household formation. I'm guessing it's the latter. And should you expect lower prices? Not necessarily. There you go. Affordability. There's no point. Despite what you heard about the shortage of supply the past few years, which I think is a crock of crap, looking at the numbers doesn't really provide any evidence of why people scramble to pay such large premium over the last few years. Behavior: people buy a home once every 10 to 20 years, aren't perfect pricing the market. Shocker, right? Consequently, they're prone to over and underpaying for these things. Well, 60% more completions that are likely to be flipped back to the market convince them double digits gains are unrealistic. Who the F knows? What we do know is that there's a lot of supply and even more coming. So why would there be so much demand when there's a ton of supply out there? No one's having kids. People are holding back on having families. I've been talking about this for the last 5 years. The Canadian proper isn't growing that much. They could barely afford to eat. A person making $70,000 a year could barely buy groceries. So you're trying to tell me, yeah, it's not happening, people. There's a lot of underlying things. Better Dwelling is getting to the bottom of it. There's a lot of underlying things that we don't know. There's a lot of things they don't want to tell us. There's a lot of lying. Some articles say this, and then some articles say that, and then the ones you got to watch out for are the real estate articles. Those ones, woo! Watch out for those numbers. Those numbers are so skewed. You call up a real estate agent right now and tell them, is it a good time to sell my house? They'll say, yeah, of course. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, let me know what you guys think. Comment below. Adding this much supply isn't going to fix the affordability problem. And that's what they should be targeting more, as opposed to making a bunch of empty units that are going to just sit empty, you know. Comment below. I'd like to know your feedback on this one. And are people walking away from their deposits? I heard that a lot of people are walking away from their deposits in Toronto. What is happening? Why? Anyways, comment below if you're from Toronto. Let me know what's going on.